Good morning, everybody. It's your buddy Choppadong, and as we wind down the MLB season, I'm going to do the rundown a couple of more times, but probably not as often as I have been. I have to get something off my chest. I have to show you how easy this stuff is to compete with professional players. If you work all day long and you get home and you're tired and you've only got 10 or 15 minutes to put together lineups, I can get you competitive. I can get you competing with those Sharks in 15 minutes. It just isn't hard anymore. And it's going to make my coaches at DFS Army ticked off because they're going to feel like it devalues them. It does not. There are still sneaky plays that it takes research to find. But in a general sense, a overarching umbrella situation, you can get in here and get competitive in minutes. It's that simple. Here's how you do it. After you go down and like and subscribe to the video, hit the notifications bell, use the coupon code CHOP to get the 20% off discount at dfsarmy.com, and come in here and tickle my fancy while you're doing all of that. But what I'm going to do is show you how to do the MLB rundown. Super simple. You open up our research station. You open it up in Google Sheets. You pop out the new sheet, if you will. You go to the Fanduel Pitchers tab. You turn on the sorting data by going to Data, Filter Views, and DFS Army Sorting. Once you've already got it, it'll pop up a little gear. You click Duplicate, whatever. I'll show you that if you become a member. But you click Temporary Sorting because you've already got it set up. You filter off these games so you're only looking at the main slate. Not hard. Slide over here to the Chop Shop. You want to look at K-score. You sort by Z to A, and this will tell you Kramer, Glasnow, and Maeda. Kramer's on a short sample size. I don't recognize the name. Glasnow and Maeda are probably your pitchers on the day. No way I'm touching Michael Wacha, Eovaldi, whatever. I might look at a Sixto or some of these guys, but generally speaking, I want the high strikeout potential facing a team that tends to strike out. I want then to look at Vegas, and I wish this was a money line instead of a spread. But I want a strong money line favorite. Green is good, so Maeda is going to be a stronger favorite than Glasnow. So, being that they have a 20-point difference in K score, that's just not that much. I would tend to lean towards Maeda right now. And then I look at the price point, and Maeda's a little bit cheaper. I would tend to lean to Maeda. Why? He's got the better combination. He's got a good K score. He's got really strong Vegas odds, and he's a little bit cheaper. That's all I'm trying to do. Now, if you want to take a risk on Kramer, go for it. But that's what I'm doing. It's too big of a drop off down to 512 to be worried about Wacha or Eovaldi or any. I don't care if their Vegas odds were really, really strong down in here. They're not going to be as strong as this one. And their price point being cheaper, it really, really, really needs to be a lot cheaper to get me off of a higher K score and higher Vegas odds. Does that make sense? I'm trying to look for the best of those three worlds together. And really and truly, that's all K score does. It looks at the best strikeout matchup versus a team that tends to strike out, and it tells me who has the better of the double green light, a high strikeout pitcher facing a high strikeout team. W score does the same thing, only in reverse. So I sort that, A to Z instead of Z to A, and I push the high W score to the bottom. This is using WOBA. This is showing me down here at the bottom, red is bad for pitchers. From the pitcher's perspective, it's bad. That means from the hitter's perspective, it's good. This is where I'm going to find my stack ideas for the day, or at least start for the day, right? And I'm going to look here. And I'm going to say a lot of pinks down here. Anything, say relative to the slate, 750 drops off a good bit to 719. There's a little bit of a grouping there. Drops off again to 685. Drops off again to 658, right? So anything down in here in these pinks is probably good. What's that? 6 pitchers. I'm going to then look. What this is telling me is this is a pitcher that struggles. He gives up a high WOBA. That's why Michael Wacha's down here. Michael sucks this year. He gives up a high WOBA against, and he's facing a team that puts together a pretty good WOBA on its own. So if I'm going up against the New York Yankees or the Atlanta Braves on a hot streak, and I tend to struggle with giving up WOBA as a pitcher, I should be scared for my life tonight. They're gonna be bashing the ball all over the place, or at least they should. It's still a round ball and a round bat, and it's hard to hit. But in a general sense, the matchup is tremendous for these bats. So once I find these guys, and I look over here in the overall stats, look at these high home run per nines. We might see some serious fireworks, 2.4, 2.5, 2.5. I mean, that's pretty gross. So I'm going to slide over here and look at the teams. I'm going to take those bottom 6 teams. Boston in a good spot. Are they, use the opponent's side. Boston's in a good spot. Are they going to be able to hit? I don't know. Kansas City in a good spot. Baltimore, good spot. San Francisco, good spot. Tampa Bay, Chicago, good spot. Maybe you want to stack these teams, maybe you don't, but I'd at least write them down and consider them. And then I would look later on today at our MLB leverage stacks sheet. And if these guys are lower owned, I would increase my exposure to them anyway because they're going to give me leverage if they go off. And I know they're in a good spot. If they're going to be chalky, I'll decrease exposure to them and play the, baseball is volatile and it's hard to hit and chalk fails in baseball. I'll play that game and lower my exposure to the chalky stacks if they're down in these good matchups. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to come over here to the hitters tab though, and I'm going to start picking apart these matchups. What, we're 5 minutes in and I'm yakking at you. I'm not even just going through this list like I normally would myself, just bang, 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 bang. I'm yakking at you, explaining it to you. If I go to W score and I've already filtered this off by 17 and higher or 715 and higher, that gets me about the top, say 40 or 50 matchups. And this is already just my outfielders. So I need to kick this back off and show you everybody. Select all. Okay, so that's basically the list, right? That's a pretty good number to start with. But watch what happens, just so I can show you how I set it up. I set up Chop Shop W score Z to A. That puts all the big numbers at the top. They're green now because for bats, a high W score is good. It means this player hits for a high WOBA and is facing a pitcher that allows a high WOBA. Good, good. Double green light. So it's a green number and it's a big number. And these are the numbers that I'm focused on. I look at about the top 20% or maybe the top 30 to 40 players on the slate in terms of W score. And that's where I cut it off. Anyone below that, I don't really care. Because this isn't all of the players that my optimizer is going to throw into my lineups with my stacks and whatever else. It's going to throw in some mediocre players out of its randomizer and its projections and whatever else. But I'm looking at the players that are in the best W score matchup of the day, and I'm going to pull those guys forward in my optimizer and make my optimizer like them more. Give me more of them in my lineups because they are in the good matchups. I'm going to take the optimizer and boost it, 20%. If a guy is at 10, I'm going to make him 12. If a guy is at 15, I'm going to make him 20. Or no, I'm going to make him 18, add 3 points, right? I'm going to add 20%, maybe even 25%, whatever it takes to get these guys pulled forward. And that's the art that I show our VIPs. I don't show you guys out in the public because after all, if I showed you all of that, you wouldn't want to become a member. And I need you to become a member to prove to my boss that I'm worth keeping around. That said, this is how you go through the positions. Once you've sorted that out, you've cut off your Chop Shop W score, you've gone over and made sure that you're just on the main slate of games today, filtered that out. I mean, you only want to be looking at what matters. Now we'll go position by position, and we'll take just the catchers first, right? It's only going to be a few of them, 3. And look, they're pretty cheap. They're scarce, but 3,500 is not bad. I would tend to pay up for a Salvi Perez if I'm running a cash game. But on FanDuel, I've got catchers and first basemen. So if I click them on, my catcher and first base category grows a little bit. Being that it's a little bit deeper, 6, 7, 8 names, I can look for value in this category. I don't have to pay up because I've got options. I've got choices that are all in good matchups today. So I can look for the value. I might take a Kevin Smith. I might take a Ravelo if he starts for St. Louis, right? Now, I might pay up if it's still the best option, but this is what I'm looking at for my catchers and my first baseman. Quite a few options today to build lineups with. If I look at just second baseman, now we're a little scarce. I probably have, 2,600 is not bad if Brosso's in a good matchup, which he is, but I might pay up for a Brandon Lau. Generally speaking, you're going to pay up at scarce positions, but when you've got Tommy Edman up top with a better matchup and 3,000 for Josh Donaldson, whatever, and these are the guys that you're looking at, of course, you're going to try and take the value that you can. You've only got 4 options at third base, 4 viable options. Now, somebody else could have a great game. I'm just pointing out the options of the W score, the guys that I'm going to boost projections in my optimizer are pretty slim pickings because I'm narrowing it down to just the best of the best. So there's my shortstops. There's my outfielders. And you can do this yourself. Outfielders is always deep. right? I don't care what the W score is. I know it's over 715. I know it's organized where the top guys are at the top of the sheet. So Harrison Bader, although I don't trust him, has a great W score tonight. Kepler, Cruz, Buxton. Looks like Minnesota's going to get the run. Soler, Yastrzemski, Rosario, another Minnesota guy. Merrifield, KC's in a good spot. So let's do that one more thing, and then I'll kick you loose for the day. But if I go back here and I select all, in the top W scores, I see some St. Louis, right? 3 of the top 5. I see Minnesota in here, right? Validating what I saw back on the pitchers tab, that St. Louis and Minnesota are in good spots today. They should be worthy of some stacks if you trust them. I don't trust either offense right now, honestly. So I might lower my exposure. You got to use your head at some point too and say, when the hell was the last time St. Louis scored 10 runs? They've just gone a week or two where they've been scoring about 2 runs a game. They may have a great matchup, but they aren't doing crap with it right now. So it's not exactly a super strong green light. It may just be one of the strongest green lights on the slate. That's where your own thoughts have to come in. But you've at least got the sheets. You've got it all. You've got it lined up. You're ready to go to the optimizer. You're ready to punch in lineups. You're ready to punch it out. You've only been 10 minutes into this thing, and like I said, I've been yakking at you. If you work a long day, 60-hour weeks, and you come home at 5:30, and the slate starts in an hour, and you're just dying to get some baseball in, I can have you competing with the Sharks in 10 or 15 minutes. It's just not complicated anymore. Our pros, our coaches, our staff has put together the tools. Easy to use, easy to filter, easy to see. Bang, you're off and running and competing with pros. You don't have to spend all day digging at numbers anymore. We've done that for you. If this doesn't work, use our cheat sheets. Use this and then favor the guys that are on the cheat sheets too. Whatever combination you want to use, keep it simple, repeat it every single day, and let the volatility of baseball come through you, up and down, up and down. Don't change what you're doing necessarily. If you've got logic behind it, using W score, using only those top, it will come back into favor. It will go out of favor, and it will come back into favor throughout the season. It's a long season. Ride it out. It's that simple. And if you need that type of coaching, that next level type of stuff, you know where to find me. My name's Chapadong. I'm inside DFSArmy.com talking to people all day, every day. And I'd love to talk to you too. So use the coupon code CHOP, CHOP. Get the 20% off discount down there. Like and subscribe the video. And I'll see you on the inside.